Good morning, class. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that song, Toto by Africa, or Africa by Toto. You know the one that goes, I'll take the reins down to Africa. We are going to go down to Africa today, but more specifically, we're going to be looking at South Africa. Now, last class session, we were looking at Guatemala, and we're going to continue with this trend that we've been doing of our central unit question was, were the actions of the United States in foreign nations during the Cold War representative of American ideals? And in Guatemala, we explored that a little bit, right? Of democratically elected Jose Arbenz and how the United States backed the overthrow of that president, and the whole investment into the country through United Fruit Company, and what is American values, even though we're kind of supporting these authoritative and dictatorial governments, and even implementing or putting in governments like that. So today we're going to be exploring South Africa and South African apartheid. And we're going to be talking a little bit more later on in the class on what is apartheid. But just to give you guys a definition of apartheid, it was the legal segregation based on race, meaning it was illegal to mix in public spaces. It was illegal to mix in private spaces. It was illegal to work with each other. And everything had to be separated. Now, you see some of these images on the screen, and they really exemplify what is South Africa. You have the beautiful South African flag. You have Nelson Mandela, which is the peak of South African leadership and the peak of South African the anti-apartheid movement and his leadership. And he was one of the many influential leaders behind that movement. Even go so far as being in prison for the next 20 years and then being elected the first Black president of South Africa. But like I said, we're going to be going into that a little later into the class. And then you see this beautiful image of Cape Town, South Africa, one of the largest cities there, really beautiful as well, right there on the coast. And then these two images in the bottom really exemplify South African apartheid. On the right side, you guys will see this literal segregation, even on staircases. People couldn't even walk on the same staircases. Pretty familiar, right, in the United States. If we think back to legal segregation in the United States, almost as similar to the point. And this lasted all the way up into the 1990s, everybody. So, and then on the left side, we're seeing anti-apartheid protesting. And again, the struggle was real, guys. That legal segregation, you couldn't even work. And so that's why a lot of Black South Africans took the harder brunt of it, even though they are the majority of the nation and whites were the minority. So all of you should have out your warm-up journals. And today we're going to be looking at Trevor Noah interviewing his grandmother, Coco. Her name's Coco, and his hometown, Soweto. And you guys are going to be writing down 3 observations that are interesting to you or you think are really important. But I want you guys to pay really close attention to his grandmother's reactions, because her reactions really show off how bad it was to live under apartheid. Obviously, from looking at her, you see she's a very older woman, so she lived through apartheid, through the majority of it. And Trevor is going to reference something that he says, being born a crime, and literally being born a crime because his mother is Black South African and his father is white South African. So Trevor was literally born a crime in the midst of apartheid. So yeah, I want you guys to pay really close attention to his grandmother's reactions and pay attention to the questions that Trevor's asking, because they really are leading up to what we're going to be doing later on today when we're going to be learning about the struggles of living under this harsh segregation. Enjoy the video, guys.